Hello guys, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage. So today is the day. We're getting started on floor linking the truck. So if you saw the last video, if you haven't, go check it out. But if you saw the last video, you know that we will be doing this using the Fire Punk floor link kit. Couple things to mention. We were missing a couple bolts here and some bearings on our anti-roll bar. Talked to the guys at Fire Punk, that's all sorted out. We got stuff on the way. Also, a couple things that I forgot to say the other night. These brackets, I believe you can get in 3.5 inch or 4 inch, depending on your axle size. And if you look at it, since we are not completely stripping the axle, I'm actually gonna have to cut these in half so we can get them on the axle and then tack them all back together. So anyway, before we get into all this, we gotta make room. So that's kind of tonight's plan, is try and get ready for all this floor link stuff. So basically we are getting rid of our leaf springs and all that. Probably that's about as far as we'll get tonight. Get rid of the leaf springs. I don't know that we'll get into any cutting because we can get rid of this bracket, our shock mounts on both sides, or shock mounts on the axle itself. We can get rid of this big old mount here, get that all out. So I have the truck on these jacks, the frame on the jacks. I got everything leveled up. I got a lot of measurements of where the frame is, where the axle is. I even have center lines for the axle on the inside of the frame on either side. That's all good. We are ready to go. We're gonna have to drop our drive shaft, and my plan is kind of to take the weight of the frame with our engine hoist and then unbolt the leaf springs, get them up off the axle, and then we will try to unbolt them. I don't know, this stuff has probably never been apart, so we'll see how that is. Worst comes to worst, we'll just cut. But that's kind of my plan for getting this all out, and then we'll set it down on our jacks, double check all of our measurements to make sure everything's right, and go from there. So we're gonna take our time doing this. Not that this is anything critical, but we're gonna take our time getting everything back to where it's supposed to be. So when we go to put our floor link kit on, it's where we need it and that nothing's out of place. Also, we're gonna spend a lot of time cutting and cleaning stuff off the frame, just kind of nature of the beast. Also, I have another little jack underneath the pinion there, so the axle doesn't wanna flop forward when we unbolt it. So, oh, and the wheels are all chocked, so hopefully the axle doesn't want to move. Just trying to make things a little bit easier on me, and just use the wheels as pivot points for when we clean stuff off the axle. So, yeah, we're going to get started on this thing, and hopefully we can get this whole floor link kit on the truck in just a few days. You know, being I've never done this before, I'm doing it by myself in the garage. We're just gonna take our time. We're not gonna rush. We have nothing to rush for. So anyway, guys, let's get these leaf springs off the truck. The truck will no longer be a leaf sprung vehicle. Yeah, wow. All right. Oh, and I'll have to remember to weigh these things. Put down in the comments what you think one of these leaf springs weigh. I'm gonna say 100 pounds. But just the leaf spring itself, none of the bracketry or any of that. So anyway, guys, let's get to it. Well, we're leaf springless. Got a little bit of an air chassis going on back here. We're sitting down on our jacks again. But yeah, my chocking the wheels and all just helped them to not move all over the place, but really without the leaf springs on there, these things still are kind of moving all over the place rather easily, which I should have expected. So everything went well. I had to cut one U-bolt on either side because the bolts were kind of bound up. My thinking there was that I wanted to at least leave one U-bolt loose, so when I came up with the engine hoist, if there was something that was an issue or a problem, I could set it back down on the axle and just make sure everything was safe. But once we got it up, got the U-bolts all off, then it was just the struggle of getting the bolts out for the leaf springs. The back one we had out previously when we did our drop shackles, and the front one, it probably has never been out. So this is a 2010 truck. Now that it's 2020, this is a 10-year-old truck, which now that I think of it, yeah, so 4th gen trucks now could possibly be a decade old. Yeah, time flies. So anyway, that all went well. We'll have to get everything leveled back up because the rear definitely is sitting lower now. Even with our jacks on there, it's certainly a lot more level than it was. The back end was sitting up before. I don't know if I'm gonna leave it lower like this or if I'm gonna just put it back to where it was. I kind of like how the truck sat previously and don't want to really get into doing anything too over and above, I guess. I don't know what I want to do, to be honest, but just trying to make this simple. So anyway, what do these things weigh? They are heavy, that's for sure. So let's see if we can weigh one of these bad boys. Like I said, I think probably 100 pounds, but we'll find out. $89 and a half. Wow. So that's 89 and a half pounds, just one set of leaves. And these even had the overloads out of them, you know, as compared to a factory setup. And then you got all this hardware and these little metal brackets. They're pretty heavy too. All right, so I was just trying to weigh some of the other stuff with the leaf string, but that thing's flopping all over the scale. We gotta read 89 and a half pounds per leaf spring, so yeah, definitely shed a lot of weight. I think the shipping weight of our fire pump kit was about 65 pounds. So once we get that installed and our anti-roll bar, we will be still probably less than one leaf spring. Yeah, heavy. So now, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I gotta think about this for a second. So I've been kind of looking over everything, trying to decide what really our next move is going to be. We got a lot of brackets to cut off and so on and so forth. But what I think we're going to do is we're actually going to slide the axle out. It's going to be a bear because the thing is heavy, but we have brackets to cut off the axle. I also would like to clean the axle up a little bit and maybe a couple other things I would like to do. And also being able to get in there will help with cutting everything else off, just one less thing to get around. So we're going to try and jack the back of the truck up, see if we can get the axle out. I really don't know how it's going to go because with the engine hoist there and yada yada yada, let's see if we can get this thing out. Well, yeah, now it really looks weird. No more leaf springs, no axle. Things just kind of hanging out in space. Yeah, so we got it like this. It's sitting back on our jacks. I got another set of jack stands under just as extra insurance. But we will have to spend quite a bit of time getting off our bracketry and all that. Yeah, I don't know exactly how I'm going to go about that yet, whether I'll burn it with the torch and then hit it with the grinder. I haven't decided, but yeah, we're looking good. We're making progress. You know, nothing too crazy tonight. We're just taking kind of baby steps. We got the axle out from under there. Honestly, I wasn't planning on actually removing it from under the truck, but we have our brackets we got to get to on that. They'll be a lot easier to get to here. Also, I think I would like to clean up the axle. It is pretty shabby for sure. And there's also a couple other things that we might end up doing to the axle. But yeah, so we are moving right along with our 4-link install on the truck. Yeah, honestly, right now it would be so easy to just go cut the back half of the truck off, but we're not doing that. We're not going that far. We're just going to do the factory frame 4-link and be done with it. But yeah, that's quite a bit of weight hanging out back there, that's for sure. So anyway, guys, we lost quite a bit of weight tonight, you know, excluding the axle, because the axle is going back in, but between all the bracketry and the leaf springs and all that stuff, I mean, we're talking probably at least 200 pounds that we're going to lose off the ass end of the truck here. So anyway, we got a lot more work ahead of us with this, but we're going to take our time. We're going to do it right and make sure everything's good. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck.